Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. It's Wednesday, it's time for a quick Disney Plus news roundup. Where I'm going to be talking about Disney Plus on a brand new Apple device, a new name for the new Captain America film, and much more. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Okay, so let's kick off with some major news, because earlier this week, Apple revealed a brand new device called the Apple Vision Pro. So this is basically like a VR/AR device where you put on your head, and it's kind of got glasses, and you have like a full display in front of you, and then you don't even need to worry about like having like controllers or anything like that. You can kind of sense what you're doing with your hands, and you can move things around, and it's kind of augmented. You can have a whole host of different apps in there, and one of the things that got shown off was Disney Plus. Disney Plus is going to be available at launch when it comes out next year. Bob Iger took to the stage to talk about it. We got to see a little bit of footage from the use of Disney Plus. It's kind of had a whole host of different things like Mandalorian. You could kind of see things moving around, and you could go to the park a bit, and there was a castle with the fireworks going, and then you had some ESPN stuff with kind of a nice kind of visual effects of kind of watching it through the special way. And then you kind of had just Disney Plus on the screen, and you can just watch all your favourite films and shows through Disney Plus, and they're going to be doing some other things. Now, on the face of it, having sort of Disney Plus available on this device, makes a lot of sense, if you're going to watch movies and stuff. I'm not entirely sure about the idea of just watching a movie with something just slapped to your face. It doesn't feel very comfortable. It's kind of, it's rather than like the normal VR things, you can actually like see through it. So you're not likely to bump your knees or kick the dog or anything. Because I know, like when I've been playing like PlayStation VR at home, you knock stuff over. There's cables everywhere. It's a lot better than that. But this is going to be very interesting to see how this goes forward. Earlier this year, Disney actually kind of pulled back on the idea of the metaverse, which is kind of like the idea of where they're going with this AR, VR stuff. Kind of laying off a load of people. Looks like they've kind of shifted it over to sort of Apple, and they're doing bits and pieces. It makes sense for Disney to be involved in this technology and develop it, because if it is something that takes off, they want to be ready for it. If it doesn't, then it's just a write-off. But they have to keep trying, because you never know what's going to take off. Personally, for me, the big problem, I was sort of watching this go, yeah, okay, it might be all right. I mean, I've heard some people say, if you're traveling, you could maybe do your editing and stuff, and it's like, you're going to be sat there in an airport like this, it's going to be a bit weird. Now, $3,500 this unit is going to cost. So it went from maybe to no chance. I'll be honest, it's way outside of my budget for a VR unit. I brought a PlayStation VR for $200, and it was fine as a gimmick. PlayStation 5 came out, it was about $500. I was like, nope, too expensive for a piece of stuff that will just sit here and thing. At $3,500, so expensive. I'm probably not going to touch it. If they made it a $350, I probably would have given it a go. And I suspect a lot of people are looking at this the same way. Now, Apple does make a lot of very expensive high-end products. You can get your Mac, your iPad, your iPhone, etc. I am a big user of Apple. I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, I have an iMac, etc. So I do use the Mac and content. I have an Apple Watch. I'm definitely in the system, and I'll be interested in this, but at that price, it's just way out the zone. Now, obviously, as generations move on, things might get a little bit better, but I really don't see myself sat at home with a unit strapped to my face. My gran would have a fit if she was still with us, because she used to moan about us having square eyes when we were kids, and now they literally at a point now where they want to put them basically strapped to your head. I just not entirely sure if this will work. It looks great. I mean, the tech demo looked nice. I'm glad to see Disney are involved in this one. And they need to make steps into obviously making sure this stuff goes. But I think Disney maybe are pulling back a little bit more on that whole metaverse idea that Chapek had a few years ago. They couldn't even mention the word. But yeah, it's there. It looks very expensive, but let me know. Are you interested in this Apple Vision Pro thing? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Alternatively, just get your iPhone, put a movie on, and just strap it to your head. That should work. But nevertheless, let me know in the comments below. Okay, moving on from there, let's now talk about the new Marvel film, Captain America New World Order, which is set to arrive in cinemas next year. Well, now it has actually gone through a name change. It's now going to be called Captain America Brave New World. This was revealed on Marvel.com, and they also kind of put out a new image showing Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford together on set. No real word detail on what's going on with the film stuff. They are filming it right now. It is coming out next May. So that's great. I'm not entirely sure if the name change is right. I'll be honest, as a wrestling fan, the New World Order, NWO for life, is a big wrestling thing, so I never really fully connected with that one anyway. So I think Brave New World actually personally makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, so it's just gone through a name change. So sometimes this happens with shows and films. This is kind of the problem, I think, sometimes with Marvel announcing stuff way too early. They maybe need to do a little bit more checking around with what they're doing it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, and especially seeing Harrison Ford taking up the role of Thunderbolt Ross. I think that is fantastic. Can't wait to see what he does with this one. But let me know all about this in the comments below. Okay, so let's talk about what's new on Disney Plus today. And the big new one is Avatar: The Way of Water. This one is available around the world on Disney Plus. In the US, it's also available on Max. This is kind of like the last big film that's part of the old HBO deal, so that's why it was shared. There was also some new behind-the-scenes documentaries released. There was a new collection added as well. So if you're going to watch Avatar: The Way of Water, which I'm going to watch again this weekend. I've seen it a few times. I've got it on digital, but I love this film, so I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. Okay, let's talk about some other new additions. Here in the UK, Ireland, Australia and New Zealand, we've got a brand new series called Saint X, which is kind of a murder mystery set on a Caribbean island. A fantastic series. I really enjoyed this one when I watched it recently, because it has already been released on Hulu and on Disney Plus in Canada. I also got to speak with the cast of the show, so check that one out. That's definitely my recommendation for today, because I thought it was a fantastic series, so you'll want to check that one out. There was also some other new content added. Around the world, we saw a new horror thriller called Blood Curse added to Disney Plus around the world. I think it's going to be on Hulu in the United States. In Canada, they got The Company You Keep, and also another new international original released around the world was Queenmaker: The Making of an It Girl. Another new Star original released around the world and on Hulu in the United States was Secrets and Sisterhood. Canada also got Not Dead Yet. But that's all the major new releases from today. But let me know what you're going to be watching in the comments below. And in our comment of the day, Skunkman asks, we need more library content. Now, I definitely would agree that I think adding more library content onto Disney Plus would be great. But I feel like right now we're just like weird zone where until they sort out what they're doing with Hulu, that will really drastically increase the amount of library content in the US, adding in content from like 20th century and stuff. But I know there's a lot of fans out there that really want to see more stuff from the Disney library. I'd love to see some classic films from like 20th century Fox, from, like the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, etc. Kind of give a lot more choice. But unfortunately, there is a lot of costs involved in bringing this content. It's not just a case of taking a DVD and popping it in the server. They have to pay for the server costs, they have to host other fees as well. They might have to pay music, they might have to pay the people that were in it and that created it. And also, are enough people going to watch it to warrant all those costs? They've got to maybe get it up to being in high enough resolution. Is it in best quality, etc.? There are costs involved, so it's not entirely free. I do wish they'd get more. I think with the Disney 100, I definitely feel like that should be something that they were celebrating much more this year. Now, last night, I did actually go to a Disney 100 concert. I'm here in the UK, so I got my Disney 100 t-shirt on that I picked up yesterday, and it's got all the great music and stuff, and you're kind of sitting there watching it, and there was a thing of like in the interval where I was thinking, Disney really hasn't used Disney 100 on Disney Plus in the slightest. There's no collection, there's no theme, there's no overlays, there's really been nothing. And I know the actual celebration kicks off, I think officially in October when it does turn 100, and this kind of the first part of this year has just kind of been building up to it. They're doing a number of different events, like there's going to be an expedition coming here in the UK. I think it's in there's going to be some like in other countries as well. It's in the US at the minute, so I want to go see that when that arrives. But generally, it just on Disney Plus, it just hasn't hit. So I do feel like they've missed something by not having library content, maybe dropping in a little bit more regularly. And that would have been a really kind of cool way of kind of filling in. But right now we're seeing more stuff taken away from Disney Plus, which is a disappointment. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff on there that they could add. But ultimately, I think the viewing numbers are not high enough on some of the stuff. They put the things on there that people want to watch. And yeah, it's a disappointment. I would love to see more. But yeah, at the minute, it just does not feel like with the way that they're taking stuff off, that adding library content that isn't maybe mainstream. I mean, most of the movies and stuff that are on there are the ones we've already seen and stuff, and that they're the ones that people are watching. When you go to the theme park, if you've ever been, there's, you got all the main characters in there from the major ones that you'll know, but there's a lot of characters from films and stuff which basically never get merchandise, they never get seen in the parades or the fireworks or on these events like I went to last night. you know, there's a whole host of stuff like that which generally kind of get pushed to the side because they weren't maybe as popular as some other things. But yeah, I'd love to see more on Disney Plus, but let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Final thing before we go, I did also watch Little Mermaid yesterday. I had a couple hours to kill before the event and went to see the new version with my wife. Because she didn't want to see Spider-Man, I did kind of say, can we go see Spider-Man? She was like, no, I'm not seeing an animated Spider-Man movie. So I watched The Little Mermaid. I really enjoyed it. My wife really enjoyed it as well. We both said the visual effects were a little bit wonky in places, especially the under the sea stuff. It did look really weird. I did say, I think comparing it to like Avatar: The Way of Water, it's kind of hard not to compare it to that, where it was so good. The music and stuff was great. The Scuttlebutt song was awful, I will say that. But we enjoyed it. We both said like a 4 out of 5. You know, there's definitely problems with it in terms of it just, some of it just doesn't turn well into animation. Flounder just doesn't look right. It just looks weird. But we did say, I mean, Hale, she is fantastic in the role. She, you know, her voice is amazing. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. But yeah, it could have been better. The special effects were a little bit dodgy in places. But overall, we really enjoyed the film. So if you haven't seen it, it's out in cinemas now, and obviously it'll be coming to Disney Plus later this year. But yeah, so there we go. Anyway, guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.